In the opulent ballroom of the Grand Evergreen Hotel, where crystal chandeliers cast a warm, golden glow over tables adorned with white linens and flickering candlelight, Elena Vargas found herself adrift in a sea of laughter and clinking glasses. It was her cousin's wedding, a lavish affair that had drawn family from across the globe, but Elena felt like an outsider in her own skin. Dressed in a simple emerald green gown that hugged her curves just enough to turn heads but not invite stares, she sat at a corner table, nursing a glass of champagne that had long since gone flat. Her wavy auburn hair framed her face in soft curls, and her wide blue eyes scanned the room with a mix of envy and resignation. At 28, she was the perpetual bridesmaid, the one who smiled through toasts while her own dreams of love gathered dust. The orchestra played a gentle waltz, couples swaying on the polished dance floor, their joy a stark contrast to her solitude. She toyed with the stem of her glass, remembering how she'd arrived alone after her last relationship crumbled under the weight of unfulfilled promises. Just as the ache in her chest deepened, a shadow fell across her table. Looking up, she met the intense gaze of a man who seemed sculpted from the pages of a romance novel, tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair slicked back and a jawline sharp enough to cut glass. He wore a tailored gray suit that screamed old money, and his lips curved into a mischievous smile as he leaned in close. "You look like you could use a rescue," he whispered, his voice a low rumble that sent a shiver down her spine. Before she could respond, he added, "Pretend to be my girlfriend. Just for tonight. My ex is here, and I need a shield." Elena's heart skipped a beat, her mind racing. Was this a joke? A pickup line gone wrong? But there was something earnest in his emerald eyes, a vulnerability that mirrored her own loneliness. With a deep breath, she nodded, her lips parting in a tentative smile. "All right, stranger. But you owe me a dance." And just like that, the night transformed from a quiet vigil into an unexpected adventure. Alexander Hale, the enigmatic millionaire whose tech empire had made headlines from Silicon Valley to Wall Street, extended his hand with the confidence of someone used to commanding boardrooms. His fingers were warm and steady as they enveloped hers, pulling her gently to her feet. Elena's pulse thrummed in her ears as they wove through the crowd, his arms slipping possessively around her waist. Whispers followed them, guests murmuring about the striking pair, wondering who the mystery woman on Alex's arm could be. He leaned in again, his breath tickling her ear. "I'm Alex. And you're Elena," she supplied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Elena Vargas. Family of the bride." He chuckled softly, the sound vibrating through her. "Perfect. That makes you even more convincing." As they reached the edge of the dance floor, his ex-fiancée, Victoria Langford, a statuesque blonde in a crimson gown that screamed designer labels, glared from across the room, her perfectly manicured nails tightening around her flute of champagne. Alex had ended their engagement 6 months prior, citing irreconcilable differences, but Victoria's pride demanded revenge. Tonight, she planned to flaunt her new beau, a sleazy investor half her age, but Alex's sudden appearance with Elena threw her off balance. The music swelled into a sultry tango, and Alex guided Elena into the rhythm with effortless grace. His hand pressed against the small of her back, drawing her closer until their bodies moved as one. "Tell me about yourself," he murmured, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her forget the room around them. Stumbling over words, Elena shared snippets of her life, a graphic designer by day, dreamer by night, sketching fantastical worlds to escape her mundane routine. Alex listened intently, his thumb tracing lazy circles on her skin, igniting sparks she hadn't felt in years. For the first time that evening, laughter bubbled from her lips unforced, and as the song ended, he didn't let go. Instead, he brushed a stray curl from her face, his touch lingering. "You're a natural at this pretending game," he said, his voice husky. "Care to keep it up over dinner?" Seated at a prime table near the head of the reception, Elena felt like Cinderella at the ball, only without the pumpkin carriage waiting to whisk her away at midnight. Alex pulled out her chair with old-world charm, then signaled the waiter for a bottle of vintage Bordeaux. The wine arrived swiftly, poured with flourish, and as they clinked glasses, Elena caught Victoria's venomous stare from afar. "Mission accomplished," Alex said with a wink, but his eyes held a warmth that suggested more than mere strategy. Conversation flowed like the rich red liquid in their glasses, Alex regaling her with tales of his startup days, sleeping on office floors while coding through the night, turning a simple app into a billion-dollar behemoth. Elena, emboldened by the alcohol and his undivided attention, confessed her frustrations, the soul-crushing client meetings, the sketches piling up in forgotten drawers. "You should show the world your art," he urged, his hand covering hers across the table. "It's criminal to hide talent like that." The first course arrived, delicate seared scallops drizzled in citrus butter, and Elena savored each bite, the flavors bursting on her tongue like forbidden secrets. Alex watched her, his gaze appreciative, and for a moment, the pretense blurred into something real. Laughter erupted when he mimicked his boardroom rivals, his impressions spot on and hilariously exaggerated. Guests at nearby tables glanced over, drawn into their bubble of mirth. But then Victoria approached, her heels clicking like warning shots, her new arm candy trailing behind. "Alexander, darling," she purred, ignoring Elena entirely. "Didn't expect to see you here." "Who's this accessory?" Alex's arm draped casually over Elena's shoulders, pulling her close. "Victoria, meet Elena, my girlfriend. The one who makes all this." He gestured vaguely at the grandeur, worth coming back to. Elena's cheeks flushed, but she met Victoria's icy blue eyes with a sweet smile. "Pleasure to meet you. Alex has told me so much about his adventures." The barb landed perfectly, and Victoria's facade cracked just enough to reveal fury before she stormed off. Alex squeezed Elena's shoulder, whispering, "Brava. You're a quick study." As dessert, decadent chocolate lava cake arrived, Elena realized the night was far from over, and neither was the spark igniting between them. As the reception wound into the wee hours, the energy shifted from formal elegance to carefree revelry. The bride and groom cut the towering cake, its tiers cascading with fresh orchids, and the dance floor filled with tipsy guests twirling under the stars visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. Alex and Elena lingered at their table, the empty wine bottle a testament to their deepening connection. He shared vulnerabilities then, how success had isolated him, turning friends into opportunists and love into transactions. Victoria was part of that world, he admitted, his voice low. "Calculating, always an angle. You're refreshingly real." Elena's heart ached for him, mirroring her own scars from a fiancé who left for a better opportunity abroad. Emboldened, she reached for his hand, lacing their fingers. "Then let's make tonight about escaping all that. No pretenses, just us." His smile was radiant, and he led her back to the floor for a slow ballad, their bodies swaying in perfect sync. His chin rested atop her head, and she inhaled his scent, sandalwood and citrus, intoxicating. Whispers from family reached her ears. "Who's that with Elena? He's